Welcome, dear friends. We are happy to have you with us today on the international discussion dedicated to the conference Global Crisis, Time for the Truth. We continue these international discussions since this event that happened on 4th of December 2021 had such a great resonance among people worldwide that we get every time new messages and questions from people. And we are happy to discuss this event today with our guests. Just a few details on this event. It was an international conference that was translated into 100 languages. It was broadcasted on thousands of platforms. People from 180 countries participated in the organization of this event, and many wonderful speakers brought the message of why we are now in the global crisis. So what is happening now in our planet, on the climate, in our society, and what is the solution? This is the main message. So how we can come out from this global crisis.
Yes, and we're also happy to announce that we are preparing right now for the next global event, forum, that will take place on 7th of May and will be called Global Crisis, where people we want to live. The purpose of the forum is to inform mankind truthfully and objectively about growing danger of climate and ecological disasters, to reflect the real scale of multiple crises in the consumer format of society. We also need to consider practical solutions to overcome this crisis by building a creative society. And as the previous conference, this forum is also initiated by common people on volunteer basis with their own efforts and resources. And as you can see now, this page of the forum where we in detail described what is the main goal, and you can read more about it on a website. And as for me, I can add that the preparation is already going. We're preparing many topics that will be discussed in several days, and we go in detail on the topic that we already discussed at the previous conference, because we really have a lot to say, and there are really a lot of things one need to understand in order to really understand this situation that is happening right now all over the world.
Absolutely agree. And it's never enough to discuss and go deep into the roots of the problem of our global crisis. And I'm so happy to introduce our today's guests, who are Kanu Eleke, a teacher under the Arabic and Islamic Education Board, Sokoto in Nigeria. Hello, Kanu.
Hello, Antonia. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
And Adel Khaled from Egypt. Mr. Khaled is a bio-entrepreneur working in the area of climate change and agriculture, sustainable development. He is a research and development engineer and teaching assistant at Heliopolis University. Hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you too all.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks. We would like to ask you the first question about the conference that was on the 4th of December. Can you please share, Adel, what impressed you the most?
First of all, the new type of the idea, introducing the climate change in a different way to introduce and get involved with all of the policymakers and the population itself, which are totally affected by different disaster and different climate change events nowadays. So the thing which attract me, the most thing attract me is the new type of introducing and dealing with the idea. This firstly. Secondly, all of the workers are youth and are eager to get the all of the population involved, from the poorest one to the most technological ones, which is very perfect, and get all of the types involved in making decisions and making deals with the climate change nowadays.
Thank you very much. And indeed, on the conference, we discussed also the information on the reasons of climate change. And that's why it's so interesting to hear your understandings on the climate adaptation according to this information. And we will come back to that. I would like to ask also Kanu. Kanu, you're an active participant of Creative Society project in Nigeria, and you watched the whole conference, the whole 12 hours, and also participating in the discussions. What was your the most topic that touched you the most?
Thank you, Antonia. First of all, the conference gave opportunity to hear a different side to what we know about the climate change. Not the world, even here in Nigeria, the whole everybody's talking about CO2 as if it is all we need to know about climate change. But during that conference, it became very obvious that CO2 contributes even less significantly to climate change. Where there is climate change and there is also the ecological problems. But that conference brought it to the fore, made it clearer that there is actually a cyclicity of weather, of nature, which leads to climate change that has nothing really so much to do with CO2 emission. That is that. So, but particularly, I was touched by the revelation, let me use that word, revelation, when Jana spoke concerning the predictions or the solutions given by the artificial consciousness, Jackie, and then the psychologists, the doctors who spoke about it. I was really touched by what I heard. The solutions proffered by Jackie, which is, let me say, all, well, I would say mechanistic, which actually in a way, when I reasoned it out, it lacks some human consideration. That particular topic touched me. I was impressed by it, and I would like to share when the time comes.
Yes, for those who do not know, Jackie is artificial consciousness designed by XP Energy. And you can find more information on it, on this, how it works and how dangerous it can be in the consumerist format of society we live in. If this technology will be available to the humanity now at this point of our development, then we will damage ourselves much more than we will have any use of it. Thank you.
Yeah, you may ask us why it is dangerous. I mean, such a great technology. But let's look into details of the modern society. So right now we are discussing that we see that we have one main enemy, that we as a civilization have: climate. And the conference, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth, broad evidence and scientific proofs were discussed, and these reasons and all the facts were really obvious. What is the cause for climate change? What is happening right now? But there is also another thing that impressed me the most on what I saw on this conference. It's about collaborationists. It's about people who behave themselves not as a people in our current format. And in order to you explain it and understand more in detail, let's watch the next video about consumerist format of society.
In this video, we had to change some words and expressions using milder terms. But we hope that the severity of the problems looming over our society will still be evident. In the 21st century, human civilization boasts about its high level of intellectual development and incredible technological achievements. At the same time, at least half the world's population do not receive the health service they need. 8 billion deaths occur every year as a result of poor quality of medical care. Healthcare costs are so high that they drive about 100 million people into extreme poverty each year. Living below the poverty line leads to an increase in child labor. Nearly 1 child out of every 10 is forced to work. Often, this work involves hazardous machinery and poisonous fumes. The list of products produced by child slave labor includes baby products and clothing. According to UN statistics alone, more than 40 million people are victims of modern slavery. Forced labor, child labor, forced marriage, debt bondage, human trafficking for illegal exploitation, and recruitment for armed conflict. In the consumeristic format of society, people have already surpassed wild animals in terms of cruelty. More and more often, children are used as live bombs. In Nigeria, criminals put an explosive on a girl with a baby in her arms. After years of warfare, the economic crisis and drought have caused famine in Afghanistan. There is a well-known case where a mother was forced to sell her little daughter for 400 euros to feed her other children. Today, more than 41 million people are one step to death from starvation, and about 811 million people are starving. Meanwhile, every year, more than 1 billion tons of food are thrown away, and unsold goods, including those produced by means of slave labor, are destroyed. The absurdity of consumer society is that a human himself has become a commodity. Annual income from human trafficking worldwide is $150 billion, which is the largest source of illicit profit in the world. There are 534 human trafficking flows registered in 148 countries. The number of detected child victims has tripled over the last 15 years. Victims of traffickers are mainly migrants and jobless people, as they are the most vulnerable. International treaties proclaim goals of ending poverty and slavery. But in the context of a mass consumption economy, the whole system is designed to protect private capital. In the consumerist format of society, money is more valuable than human life. Worldwide, more than 2 million children a year become victims of trafficking for all kinds of exploitation. In Mexico, 25% of all women who are victims of trafficking are girls under 18.
Please help. My husband threatens me. He beats me. He forces me to have sex with his friends who come here so he can make money. They started beating me, pouring alcohol on me, making me drink, pointing a gun at me, saying they would kill me and no one would ask about me, no one would know where I was. And they opened the window and said, "Jump or we will shoot you in the head."
And did you jump?
Yes.
From which floor?
I think it was the 5th floor.
In the consumerist format of society, people are ready to kill each other to satisfy ambitions for fun and profit. Illicit trafficking of human organs worldwide is estimated at $600 million a year. According to WHO statistics, 10,000 human organs are illegally transplanted every year. In Nigeria, Special baby factories are set up on a massive scale where children are bred like a livestock. Teenage girls are forcibly impregnated and coerced to bear their life commodity for sale.
But most of them are pregnant teenagers. They were held captive for one purpose, to force them to give birth. The kidnappers were making money on selling the babies. I got a call at 6 a.m. this morning saying that there were kidnappers at the school, that all our children had been kidnapped, including my daughter. We rushed there. It was confirmed that they had all been captured.
Are we human civilization if human life has no value on this planet? To change this, we all need to stop supporting the consumeristic format of society and unite in a common goal to build the creative society.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. It's just really shocking, these pictures, these facts. And this all happening just in front of our eyes. And this is the real face of consumerist format. And the right question that was raised in the video, how can we even call ourselves the developed civilization when we let everything like this happen and others just turn a blind eye to it? It's hard to imagine how the animal side of us will just behave itself in the climate disasters that are already taking place, and the amount of it and the strength is much stronger by day. And the climate emergency is now broadly discussed on the international level. But is there any way out? I mean, why is this all happening? And why is it so important to discuss these topics, to expose this real face of consumerist format and not to be silent, to spread the information that was discussed on the conference, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth? Kanu, I would like to put this, to give you the answer for this question, to hear your answer.
Thank you again. We have a saying that ignorance is darker than the night. What you don't know is, let me say, like a big mystery. Whereas it is something that is, if we had our eyes were open, if we had knowledge, if we had information, is something that is right there for our taking. It's unfortunate, really, that the way the society is, the way we have made our society, we are more interested in the money. We have made even humans to become part of how do I put it? Like a tool for making money. Those things we saw in the video. Actually, in my country, we have such problems. People seem to have, because of the conditions in the environment, people seem to have sold their conscience, and everybody just want to survive. But then the question is, do we just live to survive? And what has brought all about this is the fact that we had been fed with information that, to my mind, had really misled us. I'll give you one example. Regarding this climate change, sometimes between 2019 to date, we've been having problems of bandits or banditry. And when it started, there was this information that it could have been as a result of the changes in weather and ecological situations in some of the neighboring countries. But we weren't looking at the fate of those people who are involved in maybe drastic flash floods, who are involved in maybe droughts, where they were farming and then they were moving into our country, and then it was causing a problem. So herders and farmers were like, killing one another. And we were looking at it that, oh, it is just a minor problem. But then I think it's because we have not really looked at it from a humane point of view. We are looking at people as foreigners. We are looking at people as strangers. If it is not happening to us, then we really are not very interested. But actually, our brothers and sisters who are experiencing those changes in their environment needed help. And that is where, if our society had not been so much, engrossed in this consumerist orientation, where everybody is only thinking about survival for himself, thinking about making profit for himself, thinking about, dominating someone else, by his acquired wealth and all that. Thinking about dividing, thinking about, how do I put it? We are just thinking about survival for ourselves and our immediate family. But then the situation we face, the cataclysms that are cycling us, is such that we must come back to the drawing table and look again at where we are making the mistake, or where we have made the mistake. And to my mind, it is the fact that we have relegated the humanness in us. We have made humans become machines, humans become tools, so that everything is not working for human, but everything human is working for profit and for how do I put it now? Women are working for just machines. So to my mind, I think that is the basis of where our problem is, making humans' life to be so, invaluable in such a way that it's not valued at all. Humans are made slaves. Humans, imagine teenagers being forced to become baby-producing machines. It just didn't sound well. It's just that we have adapted more to the animal nature, and that is why this the last conference, the global crisis about climate change and all the topics that were raised in it, the collaborations and all that, there's need for awareness for people to understand that it is time that we turn more towards the human side than allowing the animal side to dictate for us. Thank you. I don't know if I contributed to what you asked me.
Absolutely, because you exactly pointed on the roots of the problem, and this is why we need to discuss it, because it doesn't help to fight the consequences and to try to combat these issues if we don't understand what the root of the problem is. And you exposed it very, very well, that we have this profit-oriented society, and the consumerist format is also, known by this ignorance of people, that we still, even in the climate disasters, we still hope that someone will come and rescue us, but there is no help. And this is what we observed here in Germany, that it's what we observed in the USA in the December, right after the conference. The series of tornado hit the USA, and we see it in each country. No matter how well it is economically developed or not, it's just our common problem, and this problem is coming into our homes. It's not far away anymore. It is our problem. And that's why we are discussing it here, to find the global solution for these global challenges. Thank you. Thank you, Kanu.
And this global solution, this big step for the whole civilization, starts from small steps of every individual. And that's what we really need to understand, that everything starts from my own responsibility. Do I understand what is really happening? Not from mass media, not from what representative of countries are telling us. Because what we see now in the consumerist format regarding to climate adaptation, from high tribune sounds about climate protection, about fighting the climate, but what do we see in fact? Like on the screen right now, you see only 7% of money of the whole global landscape of climate finance in 2021. Because report shows us only $46 billion went to adaptation on the climate changes, meaning like for the water sources, to some cross-sectorals, or like for the land use and etc., for all these projects. And most of the money of mitigation went to the CO2 topic, like for these renewable energy sources, how to store it, how to deliver it, and etc. We also discussed this topic of so-called green energy and how, in fact, it's not green at all. What is happening there in these spheres? Who will be the end consumer of all this money allocated for this? And are we aware that most of this money are actually debt money? And we someday need to return them. It's a very actually nice report that we also want to analyze and go in details. And right now we see that billions have been wasted for these inefficient energy sources, and that actually produce more harm to our environment. And it's also from the pockets of taxpayers. And most importantly, these things cost us time. We need to really quickly decide what to do. We need to quickly build a creative society, find a solution to main cause of climate change, cyclical processes, and cosmic radiation. And I would like to ask our guest, Adel, after seeing all these, and as an expert in climate adaptation, how realistic do you think it is in our consumerist format that we are ready for these climate disasters? And what do we, normal people, have to do to be really prepared for them?
What remains from our earth and our humanity. So firstly, we have many alternatives to replace the chemical and the conventional one, which produce many carbon dioxide emissions and greenhouse gases, and need more energy to produce, like the chemical, for example, we used in agriculture. Nowadays, we have an organic agriculture and organic representative, which called back to nature and using some of the sources around us, like compost, for example, which come from the residues of the other crops. We can use it in a suitable way to introduce the elements and minerals for the new crop. And instead of using the chemical, which consume a lot of energy and need a lot of fossil fuels to produce energy for manufacturing of these chemical and pesticides. On the other hand, when it comes to using nanotechnology techniques and biotechnology ones, which depend on using the microorganisms around us, and using the nanotechnology, for example, using nano coating materials, which nowadays used in the building, by the way, to preserve more energy. Firstly, secondly, it can easily cool the temperature around the houses and around the apartments. Thirdly, when it comes to the nano coating materials, we can use to make the problem more easier for our guests and our listeners. Using nanotechnology is meaning using a less quantity of materials in a nanoscale to produce more efficient of the available resources. So we can use the same the same material, but in different type of activity and in a small quantity, which more reasonable nowadays for the shortage of our resources. So if we are collaborating together to force them to go and take the sustainable and economic way, it will be great, and we will gain all as a human and united one.
You're absolutely right, and thank you for introducing these wonderful technologies that could be available now on the global scale, but they are not. So this is exactly the reality that we see today, that there is a lot of smart minds, smart ideas, how we can improve our ecology, how can we improve our state of our air, of agriculture, everything. So, but there is no will, because, as you said, business as usual, and the scale of consumerist format that doesn't care about people, doesn't care about our environment, is much more higher and quicker than any efforts to prevent it. So that's why the main question is that how can we spend so much money, our time and efforts and resources on fighting the consequences when we rather change the reason, we rather change the fundament of this format. And this is what the Creative Society project has in a main goal, to put the human life first and make the conditions so that people could benefit from this technological inventions, from science, from everything that society has to offer. Because in this format of Creative Society, nature will not be harmed by this form, by consumerists, and greed, just because there will be no place for it, because everything should benefit to people, to nature. And so in this way, there will be no resources lost. And also technological solutions will, be available to the society. And I would like to come back to the Creative Society project, because many people have already heard about it. So thanks to this conference, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth, translated into 100 languages, people across the globe writing and want to know more about the project. And people ask, so what is this about? So how it can be built? What is this 8 foundations of Creative Society? And how this project, how this changing of the fundament will change our life and change the entire society? Kanu, would you like to share your personal opinion, your understanding, to people who ask and want to understand more?
Yes, just like you said about the whole thing is on switching to the fundamentals, and not just wasting and driving away time on consequences. Let me share this. How would I call it? This association. Let me share this analogy that while I was watching one of the interviews with the participation of Igor Mikhailovich Danilov, he made this illustration that assuming a bullet was shot, I'm using my word, and then there is an object at which it was targeted. Now, that if that object was shifted a little bit from the angle at which the bullet was coming, definitely, even though the bullet will hit the object, but since the target has been shifted, instead of penetrating through the target, it will be deflected, and the target would not be affected badly by the hit of the bullet. So I am using this association to explain my understanding of the Creative Society, the foundations, that if humans will only make a shift, it's no longer something that is no longer news, or it's not something that is new, that a human is made of a dual nature. All of us feel it. There is that, in my place, we say there are the 2 voices in each of us. One we say is the devil, one we say is God, the angelic and the beast. So if human listen more to the angelic, and then human, tends more towards the angelic, that is towards the human nature, the real spiritual value that all of us carry within us, then what will happen is that rather than the consequences we are experiencing now as a result of the animal inclination we are adapted to, then those consequences will not meet a fertile ground because we have shifted from being animals to being humans. And therefore, society will be happier for it because the human values, if you look at them, the value of kindness, the value of mutual respect, the value of love, of humanness, the value of everyone is happy, the value of justice, equality, is no longer going to be for profit purposes. So we don't need a situation where, like Abdel was talking about nanotechnology, and then we find that it's not even being promoted, it's not being encouraged because it's not going to give much profit to those that are making profit from the current system of things. So the creative society ideas, the foundations of the creative society, those 8 foundations to me, will help us to realize the human ideal. And once we realize the human ideal, definitely will be better for it because the consequences we are experiencing today is as a result of our the fact that we are still stuck in this consumerist system. If we switch from the consumerist system to the creative system, then definitely we will reap the benefits of the creative system, which is happiness for all. Everybody will be better for it, to my understanding. Thank you.
Thank you too, Kanu, and it is indeed a very easy way to achieve it, and there is a concrete steps how we can reach it goal, because there is a concrete plan that you can find on the website creativesociety.com. We are now on the first stage of implementation of this project worldwide, and there is a second and third stage. The 8 foundations of creative society will be implemented in the constitution of each country. And according to these 8 foundations, the whole sphere of our life will be transformed, and we will see the benefits of people also in the free education, free healthcare, from in each level, in each sphere of our life. To learn more, please visit the website and also ask us questions. So go into contact with us, and we will share the ideas how to implement the creative society in your country. Thank you.
And among these spheres of what Antonia has already mentioned, it's also a sphere of preparation for the global cataclysms that will be empowered and be more and more in future. And I would like to ask Adel, how do you see the creative society will enable us as a society to be prepared for them?
Yeah, very good question, by the way. But to be honest with you, the creative society is the only way to get from these circumstances of climate change and climate change management. The best deal with the climate change and the shortage of food and water and whatever it's called is the creativity of making alternative solutions to the current situations and the current issue. By the way, the creative society is having a lot of reasonable and responsible people of consumers. They are creative in everything. Whatever is that, they are creative in dealing with other partners. They are creative in the benefit from the resources. They are creative in making alternatives to the traditional and conventional ones. So the creativity society and creative society will have many skills dealing with the less and the tiny parts of the resources. They are a scientific and youth ambassadors from all over the world, had the ability to build these world with the small resources and small part of knowledge. The creativity not in manufacturing only, but also it will be in the delivering of knowledge. I think the international discussion is a way of creativity. I think the collaboration between different countries, it's a way of creativity. Not your solution is also the good solution, but also the many ideas we have all over the world, from Nigeria, from our friend Kanu, and from Russian people. It will be great to collect them together and have an idea of the applications that have a magnificent effect instead of the available technologies and business as usual. To be honest with you, the creativity of the application will be the way of getting these all around, and the way of human can pass these global crisis of unpredictable events of weather and climate. From my experience dealing with the climate change in agriculture, nowadays we are facing a great problem because of the hot and heat stress in the different ways of the cold. The more cold we have and the more heat we have in another part of the world, so the crops are facing are getting crazy in facing the two extremes in one day. For instance, we have about 35 degrees in a day, and in the night temperature will come to 4 or 3 degrees. Which is a disaster for many crops and crop productivity. Nowadays, we are working on enhancing the response of these plants towards this kind of issue, to make the plants more resilient for this type of climate change. We are using an organic materials. We call it biostimulant. These organic materials are enhancing the response of the plant to mitigate and adapt with the climate change. And as a promising result, we have many alternatives and many organic materials like polysaccharides, and extract of some of the organic or microorganisms like blue-green algae, which has a good resource of metabolites that can enhance the response of the plants. And to give you the cutting-edge knowledge in this way, using a sort of biomaterials or active compounds from organic way, will have the response or enhance the response of the plants by 30% at least, which is more promising solution for your answer, Alex.
Yes, thank you so much. Exactly, also very clear that in the creative society we will have a huge potential of all scientific works like yours that will be already collected in order really to help people to survive in these not simple times, so to say. And it's very obvious for me actually to understand that when we have a united potential of all scientists that will be directed toward one goal, toward just really to help us and human to survive, not for that somebody will earn money on these technologies, or that only few will receive the benefit, but the whole humanity, the whole earth will receive it. And it's very inspiring to imagine how it will be in creative society. It's really a big pleasure to discuss all these topics with you, our dear guests. And I really want to thank all of you that you have connected and you discuss and understand the importance of spreading the information to other people about creative society, and this importance of the first stage, informational stage of creative society. And I would also thank you, our dear viewers, that you watched our international discussion, and like also ask you to make your review, write your feedback and comments. What do you think about this international discussion? What do you think about the conference that was on the 4th of December? And we'd also invite you to participate in the preparation for the next forum that will take place on the 7th of May and will be called Global Crisis, Where People We Want to Live. Everyone is really important, and with each person it adds more and more information to the whole picture. So we, in the end, will have a complete picture and understanding what is the situation right now and how we can build this bridge towards ideal society through creative one. So thank you so much.
Thank you, dear friends. Thank you, dear viewers, for being with us today. And as Alex already said, the 4th December International Conference, Global Crisis, Time for the Truth, it was a big step for us as humanity in the implementation of Creative Society project. And we have to move forward together. The next forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, that will take place on 7th of May, is an introduction for all of you. It's an invitation to each of us to participate. The preparation is going on now, and you are invited to be a part of this big positive change. You can find, as here shown, the whole information on the website creativesociety.com, and press the join the project button and get connected with participants. So we stay tuned, and let's hear from each other soon. And thank you, dear friends.
Thank you, Antonia. Thank you, Alessa, and thank you, Abdel. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to meet you all. And this kind of international discussion, it will enhance our knowledge, get in touch with the other culture and other beautiful people, by the way. Many thanks for your time and your attention.
Thank you too.
Thank you, dear friends.